Hey, welcome back to SourceFed. My name is Elliot Morgan. So if you're not familiar with Todd Akin, you don't really have to be. He has an R next to his name, and this is election season, which means anything anybody in the political arena says is going to be magnified tenfold. So yesterday, Todd Akin was asked on a St. Louis television program about his anti-abortion stance, even in the case of sexual assault. His reply was basically blah, 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 political suicide, blah, blah, blah. But I'll read it to you verbatim, and let's see, just for fun, if you can pick out the buzzwords. First of all, from what I understand from doctors, that's really rare. If it's a legitimate rape, the female body has ways to try to shut that whole thing down. But let's assume that maybe that didn't work or something. I think there should be some punishment, but the punishment ought to be on the rapist and not attacking the child. Okay, here we go. First of all, Akin says abortions from rape are rare. So there's one problem with that word. Rare is very vague. Rare is a word that's only defined by comparison. For example, if I were to tell you that annually 32,000 people were, I don't know, born with 3 arms, you'd be like, there's a freaking 3-arm epidemic going on. But if I tell you that annually 32,000 pregnancies are from rape out of 6 million annual pregnancies in the US, and you take that 32,000 and you divide it by 6 million and you get about half of 1%, all of a sudden 32,000 is rare. The only problem is that 32,000 pregnancies from rape are 32,000 individual victims of rape. There are 1.21 million abortions every year in the US. So hypothetically, if every one of those 32,000 women opted to have an abortion, they could account for a grand total of 2.6% of abortions, leaving the remaining 97.4% as non-rape caused pregnancies. But again, that 2.6% is made up of individual women. However, you can't argue for the viability of a single woman's choice without also bringing into play the whole pro-life stance, that 100% of those 1.21 million abortions in the US annually is the prevention of an individual having a life. Moving on. Next up, we have Akin's use of the term legitimate rape. Legitimate rape? Okay, now I'm gonna give this guy some grace because he was speaking off the cuff regarding a very, very hot button issue. But what the crap is legitimate rape? How did that term even pop into your head? Is it only legitimate rape if the woman doesn't get pregnant? Because that means her body really didn't want it. Or is legitimate rape just the rapes that are true and not like those lion women that muddy the waters? Rape is rape, idiot, okay? Stop qualifying it. Okay, now we're done with that, moving on. Now there's the whole scientifically flawed mindset that Akin has. The idea that a woman's body can shut down and reject an undesirable sperm is entirely factual, except it's not in any way ever. Females of different species can reject undesirable sperm. It's called post-copulatory sexual selection. It happens in ducks and spiders and some reptiles and some bugs. Apparently the difference between females and women is that women are typically humans. Women don't have labyrinthine vaginal canals because, again, they're humans. So the idea that rape simply won't cause pregnancy is also wholly inaccurate. A study in Human Nature from 2003 found that one single act of rape is more than twice as likely to result in pregnancy than consensual sex. It's estimated that 5% of rapes lead to pregnancy. That's 1 out of 20 if you do the math. Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan and basically every other Republican on the face of the planet distanced themselves from Akin, saying he was wrong. Akin has also since said that he misspoke regarding the science of the issue, but that he still opposes abortions for victims of rape. He stated, in reviewing my off-the-cuff remarks, it's clear that I misspoke in this interview and it does not reflect the deep empathy I hold for the thousands of women who are raped and abused every year. Those who perpetuate these crimes are the lowest of the low in our society, and their victims will have no stronger advocate in the Senate to help ensure they have the justice they deserve. But did Atkins really just misspeak? Yeah, he did. But that little misspeaking revealed a serious ignorance. He went on to say, I recognize that abortion, and particularly in the case of rape, is a very emotionally charged issue. But I believe deeply in the protection of all life, and I do not believe that harming another innocent victim is the right course of action. I also recognize that there are those who, like my opponents, support abortion, and I understand I may not have their support in this election. So the big issue here for me isn't the bad science or even the ignorance. It's that once again, yet another politician has displayed an incredible lack of compassion for a certain group of people. It's disappointing that time and time again, legitimate political and social stances are eclipsed by these ignorant talking heads. This is why I often find politics disgusting and futile, and this is why I have difficulty showing outright support for any political party. What Todd Akin did was enraging, yes, but for me it was disheartening because he helped turn what is a sensitive and important issue into a sideshow of stupidity. Stupid people are stupid. So I'm going to ask you a real in-depth question now. When people say stupid things regarding important topics, does it influence your stance on said topic? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, while you're down there, you can like and you can subscribe. You can click this annotation for our 5 daily stories. I'm Elliot Morgan, and stupid people are stupid.